Hello there, YouTube. So, back to the second part of talking about street crashes I've gone through. I point that out because that's a dirt road. And this is actually a bridge for the dirt road. And actually, that's a railroad track. This is the bridge for a dirt road. Or I got that backwards. I don't. Once, one of those for the logging trucks. There used to be a huge camp out here. And it got wiped out when the mountain blew also, but they reopened it. And it finally went under here probably 5 years ago. And the craziest thing is this huge place, you know, where they process wood and all this stuff. And you go out there and it's just gone. I mean, leveled off. They went out there and scrapped all the metal. I mean, all this machinery and buildings and everything, and all there is these metal beams where the building structure and stuff was cemented to the concrete. But anyway, road race crashes, or road crashes. So, in 81, I bought myself a brand new, I was working at York Honda and Yamaha at the time there in Longview, which is now passed ownerships on to who owns Pro Caliber now. It went from York Honda and Yamaha to Longview Honda to Longview Motorsports, which the owner now owns, is part of Pro Caliber, but we're part of a huge auto group now. And anyway, I bought this 81 CB750F, and at the time those were the bases of the Honda Superbike team. They were 1050 cc's. They were basically using a kind of a bored out 750 with a stroker crank, which was later used in the CB900F. And anyway, the Honda's racing team was based on that. And anyway, I just loved this bike. Rode the wheels off of this thing. And man, some of the crazy shit I did on that motorcycle. Man, that's a million stories in and of itself. But anyway, wore my first set of tires, which was the stock tires. There's a lot of gravel on this road, so if I'm driving like an old man, you should feel what this feels like. It's still got gravel on it from when they, these back roads like this, when it freezes and snows, they just gravel them. They don't ice them or anything. But that stuff is underneath there, or still on the ground, and it's quite slippery. And there's not a lot of people who live out here, so it's not like it's, I don't think they ever come out and sweep it. It just wears off over time as people drive on it. But it was time for my first set of tires, and I was gonna, at the time, Metzler was the hot ticket. I don't remember what the models were, model number or whatever. But anyway, Metzler's. So, service manager at the time says, you need the way you ride that thing, you need to go one step bigger on the front and one step bigger on the back. Make that thing handle better. But even at that early age, I'd already known, you know, you don't goof around with your tires. And if you guys don't know that, unless someone's done it and proved that it works better, don't be the guinea pig and spend that kind of money on your tires. It alters the handling of the bike, and a lot of times in a very drastic, unsatisfactory way. So I go, no, you know, I'm just a shy kid. He goes, you don't freaking know nothing. You know, what do you kids know? He goes, you need to put these bigger tires on there. So against what I did not want to do, I let him talk me into going one step bigger front and rear with these Metzlers. So, you know, right off the bat, the front tire looked funny. it was too tight against the fender. It didn't rub, but it just didn't look right. I mean, it did not look right at all. And, you know, these old bikes, you know, they had skinny rims. You know, you oversize the tire, and the tire wallows on the rim. You know, you don't put too big of a tire. You got to have some sidewall strength. Well, you put too big of a tire on the skinny rim, it loses its sidewall strength, and the tire rolls on the rim. Man, you got this feeling I'm gonna bust my ass in this gravel. It's just like a silky feeling underneath there. It's still this washy feeling underneath me. But anyway, I take off after work that night with my shiny new tires on, and right off the bat, I go up what's Columbia Heights, is nice twisty fast roads up there, and right away I gotta fight it to turn it. It doesn't want to turn. It's like resisting me, you know, or it was it just made the switching back real heavy. It took a lot of counter steer to get it to turn, and man, I just did not like it at all. And oh man, did I have a temper back then. But anyway, I was just infuriatingly mad. And so freaking pissed. I was still in high school at the time, obviously. And well, maybe not to you, but to me, I'm thinking of when this was. So anyway, I'm just really pissed, so disappointed. I go home, I'm madder than hell. And get up the next morning, and my girlfriend then was my wife now. She decides she's going to play hooky from school. And her parents both work, and they wouldn't be home all day. So I'm thinking, well, maybe I should do the same, you know. I did not go to school very often, but it was a beautiful sunny day. It was probably about this time of year when you just start to get those nice days every once in a while, and you have them so few and far between. I thought, man, it's going to be gorgeous. I need to take advantage of this. So I decide I'm going to play hooky. But before I go down Mount Solo and go over into Kelso to see my girlfriend, wife now, I decide I'm going to go up and over Columbia Heights and take the long way around, get some good twisties in, you know. I'm thinking, I don't know if the camera, if you can see that, it's just like this gray, ashy, silty stuff that's on the ground. Son of a bitch, that's slippery. So anyway, I take off and go up and over Columbia Heights, and oh no, it wasn't my imagination. I just wasn't tired the night before. It handled like shit. I mean, I did not like it at all. So I'm just really pissed. And I think, you know, I'm gonna go to the shop and make them swap them tires around, because I hate these things, you know. And then I'm kind of mad that I let myself get talked into it. So the more I go and the more I realize how shitty the bike handles, I'm getting madder and madder, you know. Yeah, it's just like, how did I let them talk me into this crap? So I let my temper get away from me, and like I say, it would fight you in the end of the turns, you know. This thing just flowed so smooth and easy, handled so good. I mean, nowadays that'd just be a horrible motorcycle, but at the time it was fantastic. But anyway, I let my temper get away with me, and this downhill sweeping turn. You got to go over Columbia Heights to see what I'm talking about. I mean, this is a crazy, crazy road. So it's a steep downhill right-hand turn. I'm just mad, and I just throw it into the corner and washes the front wheel out. I mean, it went under me so quick. I mean, it just like, poof, it just happened almost instant. This whole thing out here was this huge lumber processing mill. And you just wouldn't believe how big this was. And for it to be completely gone is just wild. Now here's parts of the electrical boxes and stuff that powered this thing. It must still function, because there's still things in there. I have no idea. Again, I'm not on my dual sport, but all this thing out here was this huge. Oh, look at that! Did you guys see any signs that said you'll be thrown in jail and the key thrown away after you cross? Yeah, I didn't. But you can see these big beams where the posts and stuff were here. It's this huge processing thing out here. And it was always so busy. In fact, some of my son's friends that he went to school with, their parents worked out here. See, look at these big old metal. I mean, what kind of beam was that? That it was solid metal like that? Is that some crazy shit or what? See if we can drag bottom. Oh yeah, I did too. I'm just joking. But so anyway, down I went. I mean, it happened like instantly. The last thing I see is the road as my face is coming down on it. It went down so fast I didn't have a chance to get my feet up off the pegs, and my right foot wrapped around the peg. And you know how your feet have bones similar to your hands, the long bones that lead up to the front joints there. My foot wrapped around the foot peg and broke all the bones right behind those joints. All four of them just choof. The four outer ones that didn't do my big toe. But look at that beam. What the hell was this thing holding? I mean, look at all these beams. And look how close together they were. And look at that big old thing. Probably holding just imagine the machinery it takes to process these, I mean, ginormous logs. So I go off. That's the last thing I remember is seeing the road just coming by my face. Boom, I hit the ground. And I wake up and I'm in the woods, and I'm like, what the hell's going on, you know? And I'm just like punch drunk, you know? So I'm like leaning against this tree, and I'm on the side of a cliff that goes straight up. And I look up and I'm going, oh, there's the road way up there, you know? I'm off of this cliff. So I go crawling up, I lift myself up, and I don't realize it, but the motorcycle is upside down, you know, on the cliffs like this, and this huge fir tree is sitting like this, while the bike is wedged between the hill and the fir tree, upside down. I later discovered the bike had flown off the road, flew through the air, and hit it, seat and tank first, and folded it in half backwards. It just kind of went whoop and wrapped around the tree. And apparently I followed it off, hit the tree, and slid down and landed on top of the bike. So I pick myself up and I go walking up the hill, and I get up the hill and I look along and I see this I see this long blue streak. I was wearing this blue jean jacket. You know the blue jean jackets that has like the white cottony fluffy stuff on the inside? They're real popular in the 70s and 80s. And I don't know what they call that white, it almost looks like sheep wool or whatever. But anyway, the blue jean jacket and my blue jean pants had left this long blue streak down the road. And so I'm looking, I'm going, oh shit, now I remember what happened. I pushed it in that turn and I went down. So I go walking back to the hill, and like this whole time it's just like everything's like this dream or something, you know. Nothing seems real. Everything's just like La La Land. So I go walking back to the edge where I'd come up, and I look down, it's like, holy crap, I mean, the bike is way down this hill. And I'm looking at this thing and I'm going, shit, how the hell am I going to get this son of a bitch out? I mean, all this shit's going through my head, and I'm looking at the hill, and I'm thinking, well, maybe I could get it off of that tree and ride it further down and pop out somewhere on a dirt road or something, you know, just weird shit going through your head. So I go walking back down to the bike to see if there's a way I can get this thing out. And as I get to the bike, it's like, man, my hands are freaking killing me. The palms are killing me. I was wearing these light black leather, they're like driving gloves like you would drive a sports car with. These things, no protection, but oddly enough, they were just skinned up. It didn't cut through. But my palms were absolutely killing me. So I, and pull the gloves off, and there's these huge blisters in the palms of my hand. Apparently, when I crashed and landed on top of the bike, which I think I hit the tree and slid down, I have no idea. And when I picked myself up, I had my hands on the header pipes. That's what I lifted myself up with, was the head pipe, and it burnt through them gloves and burnt the palms of my hand. Who knows, I might have been laying that way for a bit and just didn't even know it. But so I'm like, oh, what the hell, and I remember picking myself up, and I go, oh, I picked myself up off of the bike, and the head pipes burnt me, so I realized what's going on. I'm thinking, oh man, this is really, really bad. So all of a sudden I hear this, like this old gear grinding of an old transmission of an old truck type sound, this, you know how they sound, them old trucks. And I look up and I see kind of the roof and the hook. It was a goddamn tow truck. And the guy lived up there. He had a little tow and repair shop down the hill. And he backs up, gets out. He's seen all the skid marks and stuff and disturbance on the side of the road where me and the bike flew off. And just for some reason, he decided to stop and look over the hill. Being a tow truck driver, he's probably seen enough of these, skid marks going off the road. Leads to stay out. We're getting crazy up here. But you can imagine the kids that probably go down these dirt roads. But that probably leads to somebody's house, and I don't know where that dirt road goes to. I think I drove up that thing a bit on my DR650, and you come to a gate to somebody's private land. Look, there's another stay out sign. Stay out of my land. So all of a sudden this guy, beeps his head over the hill and looks down at me, and I'm looking up, this cliff, and he goes, "You all right down there?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "I need a hand getting my motorcycle out." So I start to walk up the hill, and my right foot just goes boom. It just collapses underneath me, and I'm like, "What the hell?" So I tried to walk again, and I realized my whole foot is just like folding back in a very, very unnatural looking way. And now I feel the pain. But what's weird is I'd walked up this hill, walked up the road a ways, and went back down the road and walked back down the hill, and never noticed anything wrong with my foot. So now, I look and my foot's just I'm sure you've seen pictures and videos of weird shit, but yeah, it was kind of bending back in a very unnatural way. So I hit the deck, and I can't move, so he comes down the hill, drags me up the hill. He's asking, who I am, where I live, and what's going on, and what happened. I tell him the story. He goes, "Well, this is before cell phones and stuff." So he goes, "Well, let me take you down to my shop. It's just down the hill here." And at the time, is that 14 minutes? My shop's just down the hill. We'll get down there and we'll call somebody for you, So we get there, and I call my mom. My mom, I'm just still punch drunk. I must have rang my bell, but good. So my mom shows up, and this all kind of just seems like a dream, but, talking with my mom, I'm remembering things correctly, her showing up and everything. So, anyway, she shows up, takes me to the hospital, and the guy tells her, he'll go drag the motorcycle out. Well, I'm in the hospital because I think at the time I worked or went to school for like these half days. It was like the last 2 or 3 periods. I had enough credits or whatever in school that in the last two, I know the last 2 periods for sure was a logging class, and the guy was a cool as hell teacher, and he was really cool, and he goes, "Man, it's important that you're working. Most of these kids will graduate, not even go to college, not not get a job or nothing, you know, they just suck off of their parents for the rest of their lives and, you know, be bums and druggies, which that's a whole nother story about what was going on up here in the Northwest when I moved up here and had to finish out my high school up here. What a horrifying deal that was. But anyway, I didn't show up for work, so nobody knows where the hell I'm at. Well, somehow or another, oh, I remember what it was. The tow truck, the guy just shows up at the shop because he asked where to take it, and I said, you know, take it to York Honda and Yamaha. They're off of Vandercook, you know. So all of a sudden my bike shows up unannounced on this hook, and it's folding half the back, you know, in a backwards direction. And they're like freaking out. They go, where's the driver? And they go, no, well, you know, he's at the hospital, you know, and they're all freaking out. So I'm coming out, you know, they had splintered, you know how you swell up and you got to go back for your cast and stuff. And they had me all doped up, and I was in a wheelchair, and I remember going down the hallway, and it reminds me of some scene of a movie where it's like these four guys, and it was like this silhouette of these four guys coming down this hallway. And I'm like, oh man, it goes, then people look familiar, and it's four guys from work, one of them being the owner. And they go, Jesus Christ, you dumb freaking kid, are you alive? He goes, we thought you were dead. He goes, we've seen that motorcycle and thought there's no way anybody could have lived through this. It was bad. Oh man, it was bad. I mean, this thing, there was no fixing this thing. I was clipping right along. Bent that 750 in half. Pretty crazy looking. And the funny thing is I never took any pictures of it. I drove by there. I think my mom took me there. I don't know. I think I went to a doctor's appointment or something. I asked her to drive me by the shop. I want to see what my motorcycle looks like. And he had it in the cage behind the shop. And I remember seeing it sitting there, and I never took a picture of it. And I come back, I drove a car down there a day or two later, was going to take pictures of it. Well, shit, the insurance had come, and they took one look at it and said, that's a freaking total. She's junked, and had it hauled away like immediately. So I never got a picture of it. It just still, to this day, irritates the hell out of me. And it's kind of foggy how I remember it. I remember it was sitting there, and he had it leaning up against a crate or something. And it was like the wheels weren't touching the ground. You know, it's crazy. It's like it slid, you know, seat and tank first, and like wrapped around the telephone pole is what it looked like. Crazy as hell. But I was actually going to tell you 2 street crashing stories in that, and I made that so long. Where am I at minute-wise here? Don't tell me that's 20-something minutes. Yes. Oh my God, my eyes are so bad. And if the light hits it wrong at all, I can't see it. Don't tell me this is going to be literally like a 3-part, 1-part movie. Yeah, 23 minutes. I have lost my ever-loving freaking mind. My battery's about dead too. Anyway, I'm gonna bounce out. So, if I ever post this thing, I appreciate you guys listening. Wow, did I go crazy on that? Wow, I'm just out driving, I'm babbling. I wouldn't even, I must have had a druggy flashback of my crash-induced wackiness or something. Wow, I wasn't thinking about the time. I'm just kind of riding along, enjoying the roads, and just reminiscing. Man, did I go long on that. So, anyway, thank you guys very much for listening. I don't know what I'll do with this video, so if you ever see this, great. Thank you very much for watching. If I don't, then you'll never know, but I'll say it anyway. Thank you very much for watching. Thanks for liking the ones that you like and commenting. I love the comments. And if this is your first time here, a newbie, hit that subscribe button. There'll be plenty more. Go poking around. I'm always doing something usually motorcycle related, but not always. So anyway, thank you guys very much. Have a wonderful day. Take care now. Bye-bye.